Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has been forced to tweak his book ban law, and he's not happy about it. The 2022 law had allowed for any person to challenge books as often as they want, which of course led to a lot of people challenging a lot of books. Now, once challenged, a book has to be pulled from shelves until the school district resolves the complaint, which can take quite some time. The new law that DeSantis signed limits people who don't have students in a school district to a single challenge per month. So this change comes with a lot of salt. Ron DeSantis is now blaming the left for forcing him to change it because of course. Now, DeSantis had said the day before the bill signing, quote, "The idea that someone can use a parent's rights and curriculum transparency to start objecting to every single book to try to make a mockery of this is just wrong. That's performative. That's political." What do you think this bill is? How dare you make a mockery of my stupid law? You liberal activists. How dare you? Now, wait a minute here. It wasn't the libs who were out there challenging pretty much every single book that they didn't like. It was right-wingers who were triggered by pretty much everything. Imagine that, right? Now, I have data that backs this up. PEN America recently issued a report saying that Florida itself is responsible for 72% of the books that have been pulled from the nation's schools in the first half of the current school year. That's a direct result of this law. And so, but no, that's the left. No, the data clearly shows that it's the right wing. Casey Meehan, PEN America's Freedom to Read program director, said the majority of the books that we see removed are books that talk about LGBTQ plus identities, that include characters of color, that talk about race and racism, that include depictions of sexual experiences in the most broadest interpretation of that understanding. These challenges are being made by conservative individuals and groups like Moms for Liberty, Meehan said. The PEN America report also says Florida is responsible for 3,135 of the 4,349 school book bans in the United States so far this year. Just this week in conservative Clay County, one person challenged 40 books, Meehan said. Oh, well, gee, got a saying there. You built that. Okay. I mean, that's it. And not only did he build it, he ran his failed presidential candidate on it. In fact, House Democratic leader Fentrice Driscoll, says, quote, "It's just a big mess that DeSantis created, and now he's trying to disown it. But I don't know if he'll be able to distance himself from this because he campaigned on it so hard." Well, we'll see. I mean, there are Republicans with pretty short attention spans and pretty short memory. So I don't know. That said, big L for Mr. DeSantis, who has also made concessions in the settlement of several lawsuits involving the state and Walt Disney World. So just add this to the string of losses he's experienced lately. But the best part of the story here is, once again, his blame for the left, right? Well, I just pointed out that a lot of the challenges to these books were made by the right-wing groups, right-wing parents, Moms for Liberty, etc. His blame falls squarely on one person's shoulders. Now, the Associated Press had asked DeSantis' office for any examples of these liberal activists that are abusing this law. They had one example, and only one, and that is Chaz Stevens, a South Florida resident who has raised challenges in dozens of school districts over the Bible, which is filled with all sorts of, terrible things, mass murder, rape, violence, all that stuff. So definitely not appropriate for the school, all right? Then, of course, you have the dictionary, the sources, and, of course, the reason that he raised these challenges is to point out how absurd the law is. Now, DeSantis spokeswoman Julia Friedland did not reply to the AP's request for more examples. So they just point to Chaz and said, well, that's the one. That's our only example. Well, congratulations. Now, for his part, Stevens, he was thrilled that DeSantis' office like name dropped him like that. He's like, yes, nailing it. In fact, he said, when they need to make stupid stupider, they send me up. I'm part comedian, I'm part activist, I'm part artist. I just want a better society. I'm an idiot, but a smart guy at the same time. Stay humble. Now, not only did DeSantis' office use him as an example, but they also had changed rules about free speech zones in the Capitol in order to screw him over, which is great. In fact, barriers were put in place to use Capitol space for political expression. And Stevens, along with the League of Women Voters, were among the applicants who were denied access past the barriers into these, into that space under the new rules. So, I mean, you're taking away his free speech. Well, what happened? I thought you were in favor of free speech, Ron DeSantis. You want to keep him and the League of Women Voters out. Huh. Now, Stevens, in response, said, I didn't realize that I have the power of millions. I'm just one guy. I'm an agitator. I know my role in this. Look, I love this guy. All right. He's the one that made the Festivus pole out of beer cans and put it across from the Capitol's nativity scene. And that's always fun. Festivus for the rest of us. I got a lot of problems with you people. And you're going to hear about them. The airing of the grievances. My favorite part. Now, one more thing. When this law was passed, a lot of people from the left, myself included, were like, hey, this is a little broad. This is going to lead to massive book bans, which, again, I think was the point. There's going to be people out there that are challenging books that they never read or they just don't agree with. They don't like it because they may have a gay character or black character, or maybe they'll actually discuss factual things that happened in the past that might not make, certain people look so good. But conservatives were like, no, we're going to do it anyway. They flew too close to the sun on this one, revealing that they don't actually care about free speech. What they do care about is trying to keep specific knowledge away from people. Knowledge, once again, that goes against their culture war narratives. So, that said, in their infinite stupidity, or perhaps hubris, they made this law so broad that, yes, it did what they wanted it to do, but didn't realize that anyone with two brain cells to rub together would be able to also take advantage of this law and use it to embarrass Republicans while showing everyone what they're really up to. So, oops, whoopsie doodle. Boy, did we mess that one up.